on.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And go.
Okay. Ring the bell, Rick.
Did he ring it? I
I
don't.
know.
Your
Go ahead
mic
and do the
is
welcome.
you're muted, Rick. We didn't hear it.
He's not muted.
He's not muted.
No.
It might be his microphone.
Okay. Go ahead and start it.
Okay, we're gonna start. Rick will work on his microphone while we're doing that. Welcome
Okay.
to the what's today? The 5th, March 5th, Rotary Club of North Texas meeting. Thank you to our speaker Stephen for coming. He had very short notice. We did have another speaker who canceled last night, and Stephen was kind enough to step in. I really want to thank him. I want to thank Pat, who wants to join our club, for helping me reach him. And I also wanted to thank Linda because she gave me a video I could use in case we couldn't find somebody. Because it's hard to find someone in the last minute. You know,
Yes.
it's not the easiest. If you know other speakers, by the way, Stephen, who would like to speak at our club, we're always looking for speakers. I know you're a speaker, so you probably know other speakers. And
Yes. I'm a speaker for Tea Party Manatee. So that basically means we get a lot of very conservative speakers. Will that fly with your club?
Oh, we don't usually
Texas.
do political.
in Texas, I mean, I'm a liberal, but I'd say most people in Texas aren't. Is that a fair statement? Is that? Am I consistent?
Well, actually, Rotary is not a political or a religious organization. So unless we have both parties represented at the same meeting, we usually don't
No.
have the meetings.
The Tea Party tends on the odd years to bring in more of a educational. Like last week we had Pastor Melende, and Pastor Melende is actually from Uganda. He was being raised to be an imam, but he fell in love with Jesus and became a Christian. And basically, the Muslims have been to kill him. They've had 12 different attempts, including throwing acid on his face. So, you know, he came to talk about his experiences, and I don't know, it's not particularly political.
That's fine.
Not
I think
particularly.
that's fine. I think what Linda's saying is that they don't want a political presentation, but something like that I think would fit Rotary.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll send you our speakers list
Okay,
with contact information, and then you can pick and choose.
I would like that. Well, I'm gonna. Rick, does your microphone work now? No.
Rick,
The answer, Rick, the answer is no. Because we're not hearing you. Your mouth's
Rick?
moving.
Rick, is your microphone working now?
I'm gonna
No,
say
it's
no.
not. Okay. Maybe David can go ahead and do the pledge.
Let's do
Well,
what's
I was going to say about political speakers. We went to a club in San Antonio. The speaker was a Hispanic conservative. He says, yes, there are two of us in San Antonio. But anyway, and he was good. Okay, I will do the pledge. I'm not going to stand up because my laptop falls off my lap when I do. So, you will join me. I pledge
Allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America,
and
And
to the republic
which
for which it
stands
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I guess we'll skip the invocation today because our invocation guy's microphone isn't working. That's okay. And let's see. Quickly, I have to
When
get
are you leaving?
I'm leaving on the 22nd and I'm back on April 5th.
Okay.
Okay. So we need somebody to run the meetings while I'm out of town.
Okay.
Because I'm on the other side of the world, and it's not a great time for me to be up. I got a lot of work. I'm doing a lot of TV and stuff over there, so I got to be sleeping at night.
Okay. Maybe since David's been trained this last weekend, he could practice.
Okay, and I do have speakers booked. I mean, I have
Right.
people, and hopefully they'll show up.
Well, just give me the list again before you leave,
Okay.
and I'm going to put all of those on our website too,
Okay,
for future
okay.
speakers.
Okay. Yes, and we need some more. I mean, I think I have people through April, but I have 1 or 2 dates left in April to fill in.
Okay, because I'd like to get Pastoral President Cliff Doctorman in April.
Let me send you the list, and if you could find,
Okay.
you could book some. It'd help. I mean, I'm trying. It's really hard. I mean, I get a lot of speakers, but it's not
Yeah.
easy.
And then you can show me how to retrieve them so that if somebody fills in while you're gone, that I will know how to retrieve those.
Okay, I'll give you like
Okay.
my time link calendar because that's where it is.
Okay. Okay.
Let me think. Anything else? Let's try and think. Is there any other
Oh.
business?
Roundtable this Saturday.
Roundtable this Saturday. Is anyone going?
Oh, Dave and I'll be there.
Okay, I'm working this Saturday, so I know I can't go. See, is there anything else? Talked about getting into
Oh,
the
Challenge Air on the 23rd.
challenge here on the 23rd. See, I told you Linda knows everything about Rotary. And she does. I mentioned to Linda, I saw Daniel Long today at the Greek Isles in Plano, and he still doesn't have our bell. He told me he was going to bring it there the last time I went, and I went today was the meeting, and he was there, and it wasn't there. So I don't know how to get it, but
Well, I'll go by the Royal Lane, see if they have it over there.
They had 2 bells. I said, can I take one?
Yeah, right. Well, our name is on ours, so, and their
Oh.
name, the North Dallas ones, their name is on theirs.
Okay, I was
No.
kidding. I didn't think they would give me a bell anyway, but I saw they had 2 bells. I figured, doesn't
Yeah.
hurt to ask. All they can say is no, and we're already at no, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Things, anything else that has to be discussed? You took care of Club Runner, right, Linda? That they need.
Yeah, I've talked to them. They said I don't need to pay them until the end of the month.
Okay, by just making sure that you knew about that.
I spent the whole weekend with Jeffrey, and like I said, he got me, if I can remember everything, I've got his direct number, so if I have a question, I just call him.
Okay, and Linda has made the changes to our website, so now it shows that I'm the president. You know, the office has moved around from last year. Finally, we were able to make those edits and changes. Whatever happened with Monica? Did she give you her dues?
I have not heard from her. I've sent her an invoice.
Okay, I can't really do much because my wife works for her, so I can't.
Right.
I can't put her in a situation where she could lose her job.
Well, if I don't hear from her in the next 2 weeks, I'll call her or send her an email.
Okay, it would be better if you do it than if I,
Oh, yeah.
because of the relationship with my wife.
Right.
It's probably better that way.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that anyone needs to? Well, I know Rick can't talk, so is well, he can. But he can talk all he wants. We just can't hear him. Does
I don't know
anyone
what
else?
happened because it was working to begin with.
I don't know.
Okay, I guess we can go on with the speaker.
Okay, that was the reason I was asking if we're done with that. I got an intro. Let me find it. He was kind enough to send it to me.
The speaker may think we're not organized. This is actually pretty good for us.
Yeah, we're actually on a roll. This is as good as we get.
Yeah.
Is there only really 5 of you?
No, there's
Online,
more.
but then he posted on a YouTube channel. And then other people go in on the YouTube channel.
That's why
and
I
then-
like it.
The advantages of our club is if you can't make it now, you can go in later and hear the speakers.
And a lot of groups will use our YouTube channel for their makeup meeting. So we actually get more people afterwards than at the meeting. And that's
great.
that's why I like
You
this.
send me the link?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Okay, so here's a truncated bio. Stephen, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Gufanti.
Yeah.
Okay. MD. Oh, I didn't know you were an MD doctor. That's cool. Is an international speaker and inventor of Rocket Phonics, a reading program that takes a 5-year-old to 5th grade level within 2 years. That's pretty impressive. He created this program to teach his daughter to read, and by third grade she was at the 12th grade level. At his wife's insistence, he eventually wrote it out for other children. UCLA ran a study and showed that Rocket Phonics students gained nearly 4 times the controls, and all students maintained grade level gains. In fact, the best student gained 2.6 years in 3 months. He sold his program to the low literacy homeschool market for the last 15 years, serving about 5,500 children. But to reach the 55 million children who could use the program, many with a single working parent, he needs to turn Rocket Phonics into an app. He's now running an Indiegogo campaign to turn it into an app. And with that, we have Steven. What kind of MD? What do you have? Are you a GP or?
I'm a GP.
Okay.
You're probably old enough to remember what a GP is.
Yes.
Started out working at LA County Jail, which was basically children killing children. It was, I know I don't look like it, but I have lived in Watts and I have lived in Boyle Heights, 2 gang-infested areas. And when I was in the jail telling parents that, I'm sorry, your child is dead, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do as a doctor. I much prefer delivering babies than burying them. Any rate, that's the kind of doctor I was. Why I started Rocket Phonics? I thought I would talk about my experience with the Rotary in Vista, California. So as you know, the Rotary is very much behind teaching kids to read. So the Vista Rotary, which I won't say whether it's big or little. It's just a normal Rotary for a middle class town. Put up $4,000 and bought Rocket Phonics kits for this charter school's kindergarten and first grade. And it was a dual immersion charter school. So what that means is that they taught both English and Spanish. Most of the kids spoke Spanish, didn't speak a word of English when they came in. And of the 4 teachers, they had 2 teachers for each grade level, one of them actually used the kits. The other ones just left it on the shelf. And the lady that used the kits in 3 months had her kids reading at 2nd grade level in English. And of course, as they read in English, they spoke in English. The teachers union didn't like that. They had the school closed down. I'm still in touch with that teacher. So a couple of things happened. One, it was very clear to me that the teachers prefer to teach the way they learned to read, even if it doesn't work for 2 out of 3 kids. It's the way they learn to read, so that's they're going to teach. The one teacher I had that actually used the program had no clue how to teach English. So she figured, well, I have this program, why not? And she was willing to push the chairs to the side and let the kids sit on the floor and play the games. So that was takeaway number 1. Takeaway number 2, which surprised me, was that Rocket Phonics works with non-English speakers, at least non-English Spanish speakers. I can't tell you why that works. No idea, but the fact that it does work means that we have hope for the immigrants that are coming into our country, that we can actually get them to speak English. And of course, the third thing is why I decided to turn the the program into an app was because to solve the teacher problem, we need to create a program where the program does the teaching. And that way, we don't have to worry about the teacher liking it or disliking it. All we need to do is show show results. And results are relatively easy to show. You can stop me at any time during this discussion to ask questions. There's no, we can wait till the end to have question and answer, but I'm used to being interrupted. I've been married for 32 years. So, all right. So why, besides the fact that, why did I get involved in this other than the fact that it seemed to be my fault that my daughter didn't want to learn to read? About 10 years after I left LA County Jail, I saw a study that said, if you teach these kids to read, 80% of them will stop committing violent crimes. So I looked at it and thought, heck, 80%, that would be great. That would be outstanding. So there was that. I tried to initially put it into a computer program, but it was a $3 million effort. I was like, wow, $3 million, and that was not to market it. That was just to create the voice recognition software that's now everywhere. So the fact that I had to wait nearly 20 years is disturbing to me, because I'm an ER doc. I wouldn't be an ER doc if I had a sense of patience and, waiting for the inevitable to come along. So a friend of mine asked me, why is literacy related to decreased gang violence? And actually the answer is quite simple. Imagine you're a 5-year-old child and you come into school and they start trying to teach you something you really don't get, called reading. And then the next year, they just pass you along year after year after year. And the teacher is actually reading out of this textbook that you don't understand. Well, at first you're a little confused. Gradually you become frustrated. Then you struggle, and then one of two things happens, usually about 3rd grade. So we're talking about an 8-year-old. You either develop rage at the system or despair. And that rage becomes, a fuel for gang violence. And despair becomes fuel for suicide and welfare. By the way, the average gang member reads at about 4th grade level. In fact, the average criminal, the average incarcerated person reads at about the 4th grade level. So literacy, more literacy in your community, lower violence. The other thing it does is it increases the prosperity. Educational Testing Services did a study on adult literacy in America. And what they discovered was that the more literate, the higher grade level you read at, the better job you got and the longer you kept it. So, if any of you Rotarians are parents and you don't want the kid moving back in, make sure he knows how to read. And of course, the community, I don't know if any of you have had luck at hiring people, but of course I was in California. Texas is much better educated than the Californians are these days. But out of 100 applicants to get a job at my office, only one could write 2 paragraphs and take 20% of a series of numbers. 20% was the amount of the usual copay. So, at any rate, what's the point? The point is that your community does better if the children that are going to stay there are better educated. And if you want them better educated, they need to be able to read at grade level so they can read their textbooks as they're going along. That's better. That's basically it. You get happier kids, you get a better business environment, and you get a safer community. What's not to like about literacy? This is probably why the Rotary's been in it long before I was a gleam in my mother's eye. Anybody want to see what the kit looks like at the moment?
Sure.
All
Can
right.
you explain a little about the program and how it works?
Yes. So this is the first. I did I hit share? No, probably not.
Go to the
Yeah.
bottom of the screen, hover over
Yeah, I got it.
and just
Hit
click
share.
and just click it, and that's it. You're good.
Yeah.
There you are.
Now you can see it. Okay.
Yes.
So here's problem number one. The English language has 36 sounds at a minimum. It only has 26 letters. So what normally they do is they give you the sound of the letter, the most likely sound of that letter. And the kids learn to read words like hop and pat just fine until they read something like hope. And they look at it and go, well, what happened to hop? Why is the E silent? How am I supposed to know that this O now has a different sound? That's why my daughter gave up all those years ago. First step is to introduce one sound for each letter, combination like TH, CH, or SH. So in the beginning, we just use these 9 letters. And the way we introduce it is, this is A, as in apple. As an apple. When you see this letter, that letter sound is A. So then we play bingo. Now, why do we play games? Because children love games, and long after we're done teaching them to read, they need to love reading. So using drills, which will kill the spirit of the child, in hopes that after their spirit is dead, it'll be revived when they read something worth reading. It is not part of the Rocket Phonics philosophy. We play these games, and sometimes, usually, the parent starts out as the caller, and let's see. There it is. And eventually you get bingo, and here's where the parent goes, bingo, and gets real excited. If the parent is bored, the kid's going to be bored. Okay, so now the child has demonstrated that he knows one sound, all right? Or he knows 9 sounds in this particular case, and which letters make which sounds. So then the next step is to teach him to blend. Teach them to blend, and then to make sure that they know what the word they're reading is. The average 5-year-old has a 5,000 word vocabulary. All reading is attaching words they know to its written form. That's it. You do that with most of the 5,000 words, and you've got a child who can go to the library, take out a book, and figure out the words he doesn't know. It makes sense. And that's how That's roughly what they call, well, that's what they call independent readers. Turns out that there are some 800,000 words in the English language, so there's always going to be a word we don't know. All right, so on this page, we are testing whether the child understands the word in. And there's a bee that's in the flower, and then there's another bee that's outside the flower. So if the child can point to the right flower, then he understands, he's read the word in, and he knows what it means. And we will start with, 2-letter words and 3-letter words, but gradually we go to much larger words. And then phrases, sentences, paragraphs, and stories. It's all about, no matter how much they give you, asking for more. We happen to use Aesop's Fables as our stories because it gives the child something to discuss, rather than see, spot, run. And because we have one letter, one sound, the child can read almost any word that we put in front of them. We start small because as you build their success, they become more and more confident. And the more confident they are, the more willing they are to attack new, bigger words. Does any of you have a campaign link? Any of you?
What kind of a link?
Indiegogo campaign.
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay. Well,
I don't have kids.
yeah.
Is this how how does your system work, or how is it purchased, or what's the cost for the?
Well, the kit costs $160 plus $20 shipping, whereas the app will cost like $3 a month, and we'll give an app away to an inner city kid for every app that's sold.
Like in Irving, in Irving here where I live, most of the kids are Hispanic or some other language. I know you have to have an ESL certification to teach in Irving. And same way in Grand Prairie, 70, 80%. Oh, here we got somebody. Anyway, they have to have an ESL. So just work with ESL, English as a second language.
It did in the Rotary test back in 2004.
Hi.
We have another that just came on. Hello, sir. You just came on. Who are you with?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Rogelio Alamán. I'm with McAllen Evening Rotary Club in South Texas.
Which one? Oh, in the San in San Benito?
No, McAllen.
Oh, you're in the McAllen. I met you at Lita.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I met you. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Do you
Good.
know where San Benito is, the McAllen? Dr. Gafati?
No.
That's down in deep Texas.
Near the Mexican border.
Right on the border.
I used to work in Calexico.
Oh, that's in California. That's way off. They're on the Rio Grande River down in South Texas. So, and I met this gentleman and his wife this last weekend, and so we're trying to start a new club.
Not married.
Oh, well, I met somebody at Lita.
And Marlon.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
that's not me.
Well, thank you for joining us. We're having an education on a reading program.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm
Do you
sorry
want
for
me
the
to-
interruption.
What?
I said, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, that's okay. I'm married for 32 years. I've been interrupted.
Okay.
So would you like to, do you read Spanish?
No.
Oh, well, Spanish is very phonetic, so it's a lot easier to read. I can read Spanish. I just don't understand what I'm saying. So, let's see. No, is that it? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't know how I got on that page.
So how's the weather?
Cold.
Oh, there it is. All right. So we start out with there are 36 sounds in the English language. Fortunately, we only have 26 letters. And so usually the way English is taught is this letter has multiple sounds. You have to kind of guess which one it is in the word in front of you. That doesn't work very well with 5-year-olds. It actually, only 1 out of 3 kids learns to read at grade level. Texas is much better than that, but there are tons of states that are much worse than that. Anyway, so we introduce the letters and the letter sounds, and then we play a bingo game where the child has to put the bingo chip over the letter. So now we know that the child knows which letter makes which sound. And then we teach them to blend. And we then, in this example, we have the child read the word in and then tell us which bee is in the flower. So we know that he demonstrates that he understands the word he's read. The program will go from 2-letter words to full-length stories. And we're constantly testing for comprehension along the way, because reading without comprehension in our position is not reading at all. And basically, that's how the program works. We have to do certain things for non-phonetic words. And what we do is we gray out the letter and put the letter, the true sound underneath, so that their eyes see the word correctly spelled and their ears can sound it out. And basically our job in teaching kids to read is to take their the average 5-year-old has a 5,000 word vocabulary. And if we can connect that vocabulary, make a bridge between the vocabulary of the words he knows with the words he sees written down, then we have created a reader. And he can then start reading, learning new words, adding to his vocabulary by reading books. And that's our goal. We had UCLA test our program, and basically every child got grade level improvement. Our best child got 2.6 years growth in 3 months. The average was basically 9 months in 3 months. And then we basically have been selling it to homeschoolers for the last 15 years because homeschoolers know that their child doesn't read. They're going to stay home a lot longer than they originally intended.
Do you have a more advanced, like if they go through this, is this the only book that is in the program? And how long?
No. What you're looking at now, that's a great question, Linda. What you're looking at now is basically preschool.
Okay.
At the end of this book, they'll be reading roughly second grade. Then
Okay.
2 starts at 3rd grade and goes to 7th grade.
Okay. We have an
So-
exchange student that's in Russia, and she's trying to teach her kids English. One of them is only 5 years old, and they're
Oh,
trying to
perfect.
learn English. And if something like this, if it's online that they could use over there. Actually, they're in Doha, Qatar.
Here in Qatar.
Oh man, I visited that place. That's a hot place there. Doha.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I haven't been there yet. It's beautiful, though.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyway, if something like this would work, going from Russian into this.
Well, Russian is very phonetic. It's one of the most phonetic languages. So he'd be used to it. The question is, would he have the English vocabulary, and would he have somebody that could tell
Yeah.
him?
The mother is very fluent in English.
Yeah, it should work fine.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, question.
Yes.
How young do you do this program?
Well, we're aiming for 3 to 5-year-olds. Why? Because okay. So did I mention that I'm totally focused on turning this program into an app?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't know if he was on when I mentioned that.
Oh, no, he wasn't on. No.
Okay. So-
Because my sister this past Christmas, I asked her, what do I give my my 1-year-old niece? And she was saying well, we're going to try to teach her the numbers and the letters, and so anything educational, because I guess they tried it with my other niece, who's now at the University of Texas, come School of Business. They started teaching her at 1, so I'm like,
Oh.
maybe this might my work for my other niece.
Yes, I would at 1 years old, I would go to the Indiegogo campaign and get the play and read cards.
Okay.
The play and read cards are a series of cards that give you all the sounds. Remember when I was showing you this? Well, the play and read cards are pictures of the lion with the L underneath and the name lion. And if your sister doesn't really know how to introduce the sounds, it doesn't really make any difference. At 1 years old, she just says lion and shows her the lion, that's fine, because a 1-year-old can't hear the different sounds within the word. All
Yeah.
here is lion. In fact, they've spent the last year trying to figure out where the words begin and where the words end. So they'll grow their vocabulary over the next several years. As soon as the child can rhyme, then you know that the child can hear the sounds within a word. Great question. Any others?
How do you introduce the other sounds? These are the 9 sounds, there's 36 sounds. So what do you do to introduce
This,
them?
the exact same way. Now, if your child doesn't like bingo, we have at least a dozen games. They all basically introduce the same sounds.
Okay.
For the child who likes to run around, we have a game called Play and Read Baseball. The mom takes the cards in her hand and places the other cards at first base, second base, and third base. The child is the batter. The mom shows him the child the card, and the child says the sound, and the mom says, "It's a hit, run!" And the child runs to first base. On first base, there's another card. He says that sound, he runs second, third, and fourth, and gets back home. You will notice in Play and Read Baseball, the child makes all the home runs. The mother gets to sit and drink her coffee while the child is running around her. What happens as a result is that the child learns the sound letter, and he learns that reading is fun. So those two things are extraordinarily important. Any other questions? So your 1-year-old only needs the cards.
Yeah.
You choose up the cards, you know, because they tend to stick everything in their mouth. They're easily replaceable.
Yeah, but yeah, no, my sister's been, and the thing is also, my sister's a teacher too, so that might help her in her classroom or other teachers.
Oh, yes, sure.
Why don't
If
you
want
tell
the
him
whole
where he
kit.
can get? Tell him where he can get it.
Well, you can go to rocketphonics.com, but I'd really appreciate it if you just simply go to Indiegogo campaign,
Okay.
because all the money donated, so you can get the kit from the Indiegogo campaign, and all the money donated to the Indiegogo campaign will go to turning the kit into an app.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Any other questions? Anyone have a question? Well, then let me thank you. We should stay in touch. I think it's very interesting. We'll
Thank you.
close. You're welcome. Again, thank
Do you want me to send you the link to the Indiegogo campaign?
Sure. My email, I think you know it, but it's Mr. Reader.
No.
MR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That'd
yeah.
be great. And I'll send
I'll
you
send
a
it to
bunch
you in
of
a
mine.
few
Send me
seconds.
your stuff. I'll send you a link to mine so you can see what I'm doing.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mr. Aliman, I don't know if you know Howard Burke. He has the Guinness record for the world's fastest speed reader at 25,000 words a minute. So he's our president, and he goes around and gives his program also. I guess you have to know how to read to do his, but he gives you links and everything how to
yeah.
read faster.
That's why I see a synergy, because I don't teach how to read. I teach people can read to read faster, and he's not teaching how to read faster, he's teaching how to read. So it's kind of a synergy there that would work very nicely. We're getting close to our closing time, so I'm going to do the 4-way test. That's how we close the meeting. By the way, you're all welcome to join our group. Stephen, if you'd like, you're welcome to become a member. We would love to have you. I think you'd be a great addition. Let me do the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thanks everyone for coming. I enjoyed it. Stephen, bless you. I'll send you a link to the video after it's done. It'll probably be ready tomorrow because I have to render it and upload it. It takes a while. It's not that fast, but it will be done. Thanks very much, everyone. I'll see you next week.
Okay, we just had somebody else come on, Marlon Martinez.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Huh?
I'm listening. It was pretty
Okay, where are
cool.
you from?
I'm from McAllen, Texas.
Oh, okay, so we got two people from McAllen.
Hey, Marlon.
Hey, Rogelio.
Well, you both.
Okay, well, thank y'all for joining us. Join us anytime.
Yes, we'd
Charlotte-
love to have
Charlotte wasn't
people
on.
show up. Thank you for coming. I'll see everyone next week.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Same link,
Have a
by the
good
way.
week.
Always the same link. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Okay, Marlon.